Clarity begins when you stop running from yourself. For most of us, the greatest battle is not the one we fight with the world outside, but the one that takes place within. Each day, we are surrounded by noise, distractions, and endless pressures pulling us in every direction. Work demands our energy, family asks for our attention, society constantly shows us what we should be, and technology keeps flooding our minds with stimulation. With all of this chaos, it becomes easier to ignore ourselves. We bury our true feelings under routines. We silence our inner voice with distractions, and we push away uncomfortable truths by keeping ourselves busy. But no matter how far or fast you try to run, you cannot escape yourself. At some point, you have to sit with who you are, and in that stillness, you will either discover peace or meet the storm you've been avoiding. Clarity is not something that appears in a single moment. It is something that grows when you begin to listen without fear. Imagine standing before a mirror. When the surface is fogged, you cannot see your reflection clearly. The more you try to rush and wipe it impatiently, the blurrier it becomes. But if you let the fog settle, if you wait and give space, the mirror naturally reveals your image. The same happens with the mind. When we stop running, when we sit still and observe, the noise begins to quiet down and the truth slowly becomes visible. This clarity is not forced, it is uncovered. Running from yourself often takes the form of constant activity. Some people drown themselves in work, others in entertainment, and some in endless social connections, all as a way to avoid facing the silence. Why? Because silence is uncomfortable. In silence, the questions you've ignored begin to whisper. In silence, you are reminded of decisions you postponed, mistakes you regret, or dreams you abandoned. But here is the paradox. Those whispers are not your enemies. They are the guideposts pointing you toward the clarity you've been searching for. Without facing them, you will always remain restless, always moving, but never arriving. When you stop running and turn inward, you start to see yourself for who you really are. You notice your strengths, but also your weaknesses. You recognize the patterns that keep repeating in your life, the habits that lift you higher and the ones that drag you down. You become aware of your emotions not as forces that control you, but as signals carrying valuable lessons. Anger reveals where your boundaries are. Fear shows where you need courage. Sadness points to what you value most. These emotions are not obstacles to clarity, they are the doors leading to it. But you can only walk through them if you stop resisting and allow yourself to feel. This journey inward requires courage because it strips away illusions. It demands honesty, and honesty is never easy. Yet, it is in this honesty that real freedom begins. When you are no longer pretending to be someone you are not, when you stop comparing yourself to everyone else, and when you no longer need to hide from your own reflection, then clarity arrives naturally. It is not about becoming perfect, but about becoming real. Clarity gives you power because when you see yourself clearly, you stop making decisions from confusion. You stop chasing things that do not align with your values. You stop wasting energy on proving yourself to people who do not even matter. Instead, you begin to move with intention. Every step you take becomes lighter because it is in harmony with your true self. This is why stopping the constant running is not a weakness. It is the beginning of strength. So ask yourself, when was the last time you were truly still? When was the last time you sat alone without your phone, without noise, without distraction, and simply listened? Not just listen to music or to others, but listen to yourself. For many, this feels strange, even uncomfortable. But discomfort is the doorway to clarity. The very moment you stop escaping is the moment you give yourself the chance to grow. The truth is, life is not about escaping who you are, but about unfolding into who you are meant to become. That unfolding begins with a pause, with the simple act of being present. Each day you can choose to slow down for even a few minutes, to breathe, to reflect, to ask yourself, am I running toward my purpose, or am I running away from myself? That single question, if asked honestly, can change the entire direction of your life. Clarity is not hidden somewhere outside. It has always been within you. But as long as you run, you will never see it. Stop, be still, face yourself, and in that stillness, watch how the fog lifts, the noise fades, and the path you were meant to walk begins to reveal itself. That is where true clarity lies. Your habits shape your destiny more than your dreams. Dreams are beautiful. They ignite a fire within. They give us direction, and they allow us to imagine a reality that is greater than the one we live in now. Dreams are necessary because without them, life feels empty, mechanical, and uninspired. But dreams alone do not create change. They are like seeds, potential waiting to grow. A seed left untouched remains only a seed, but a seed nurtured daily with water, sunlight, and care transforms into a tree. In the same way, your habits are the water and sunlight that give life to your dreams. Without them, dreams remain distant illusions, things you think about but never experience. People often believe that big goals require big actions, yet the truth is that big goals are built from small consistent actions repeated over time. It is not what you do once in a while that defines your life, but what you do repeatedly without even thinking. The person who dreams of being strong will not achieve it by imagining muscles or watching others train. They will achieve it by lifting weights consistently, eating with discipline, and resting properly day after day. The student who dreams of knowledge cannot reach it by staring at books alone. They reach it by the daily habit of reading, studying, and reflecting. The professional who dreams of success cannot simply wish for it. They must show up each morning, work with focus, improve their craft, and do so regardless of mood. Dreams inspire, but habits transform. Habits have a silent power because they do not always show results immediately. This is why many people abandon them too soon. When you begin a new routine, whether it's exercising, meditating, learning a skill, or waking up earlier, you may not see instant change. Days may pass and life looks the same. Weeks may pass and the progress feels invisible. But beneath the surface, transformation is happening. Habits are like drops of water carving into stone. At first, it seems impossible that such a soft thing can change something so solid. But given enough time, the stone is reshaped. Your life is no different. The habits you choose today may not transform you instantly, but with patience and persistence, they shape your future self in ways you cannot yet imagine. The danger is that habits work both ways. Just as positive habits build you, negative ones destroy you. If you repeatedly choose laziness over effort, distraction over focus, or excuses over responsibility, you are building a destiny you may one day regret. The frightening part is that these destructive habits often feel comfortable in the moment. They require no discipline, no sacrifice, and no struggle. But comfort now creates pain later, while discipline now creates freedom later. Every habit is a vote you cast for the person you are becoming. The question is, are you voting for your strongest self or for your weakest? Habits also shape identity. When you commit to even the smallest daily actions, you begin to see yourself differently. A person who meditates each morning begins to identify as someone calm and mindful. A person who writes a page each night begins to see themselves as a writer. A person who trains consistently begins to believe in their strength. Your actions tell your mind who you are far more than your dreams do. Dreams whisper, but habits prove. If you want to change your identity, do not only think about who you want to be, start acting like that person in small daily ways and your identity will catch up. So, ask yourself, what do I do every day without fail? That is the truest reflection of your future. Not the dream in your mind, not the vision on your wall, but the actions that fill your hours. If you want a different destiny, begin by changing what you repeatedly do. Start small if you must, but be consistent. A dream without habits is like a ship without a sail. It may look powerful, but it will drift aimlessly. With habits, even the smallest dream begins to move forward. Your destiny is not something written in the stars, it is written in your routines. Every sunrise gives you another chance to vote for the person you want to become. Do not underestimate the power of the small things, because they are the architects of your future. Dreams inspire the direction, but habits walk the path. And in the end, it is not the dreamer who succeeds, but the door who refuses to stop. Discipline is freedom, not restriction. For many people, the word discipline feels heavy. It reminds them of rules, limitations, or being forced into a rigid structure that takes away their joy. They imagine discipline as chains that restrict them from living freely. But this is a misunderstanding. True discipline is not a prison. It is the key that unlocks your potential. Without it, you remain a slave to your moods, your distractions, and your impulses. With it, you gain the power to direct your life with clarity and purpose. Discipline is not the enemy of freedom. It is the foundation of it. Think about a person who lacks discipline. They wake up late, not because they choose to, but because they cannot control their desire to sleep more. They eat carelessly, not because they want to be unhealthy, but because they cannot resist cravings. They spend hours scrolling, not because they love wasting time, but because they cannot pull themselves away. On the surface, it looks like they are free to do whatever they want, but in reality, they are trapped by habits they did not choose consciously. Their so-called freedom is nothing more than the absence of control, and without control, life becomes directionless. Now look at a disciplined person. They rise at the time they decide, not when laziness decides for them. They eat in ways that fuel their body, not in ways that drain it. They devote time to their goals even when they do not feel like it. To some, this looks restrictive, like they are living under strict rules. But the truth is, this person has built real freedom. They are free from the control of moods. They are free from the slavery of unhealthy habits. They are free from regret. By choosing discipline, they create the ability to live life on their own terms, not as a servant to impulse. Discipline creates freedom in every area of life. In health, it means you are free from illness that comes from neglect. In finances, it means you are free from debt and stress because you control your spending. In relationships, it means you are free from the pain of neglect because you show up consistently for those who matter. In your mind, it means you are free from chaos because you train your focus. Every area where you apply discipline, freedom expands. Every area you avoid discipline, chains appear. What makes discipline powerful is that it does not depend on how you feel in the moment. Feelings are temporary. They rise and fall like waves. One day you may feel motivated. The next day you may feel exhausted. If you depend only on feelings, your progress will always stop and start. But discipline means you act not because you feel like it, but because you decided to. It is the decision that holds you steady when emotions try to pull you off course. That steadiness is what allows you to build long-term success. Another truth about discipline is that it is not something given, it is trained. Just like a muscle, it grows through use. At first, small acts of discipline feel uncomfortable. Waking up earlier than usual, saying no to unhealthy food, choosing study over entertainment, it feels like sacrifice. But with repetition, what was once difficult becomes natural, the muscle of discipline strengthens, and what once seemed impossible becomes effortless. Over time, you do not just act with discipline, you become a disciplined person. That identity changes everything. There is also a hidden beauty in discipline. It simplifies life. Without discipline, you are constantly negotiating with yourself. Should I do this or not? Should I skip today or not? This endless debate drains energy and creates stress. With discipline, the decision is already made. If you commit to daily exercise, there is no debate. You just do it. If you commit to writing every morning, there is no discussion. You simply write. Discipline removes uncertainty, and in that removal, life feels lighter. So understand, this discipline is not about taking freedom away. It is about exchanging shallow, momentary comfort for deep, lasting freedom. It is about saying no to what weakens you so you can say yes to what strengthens you. It is about controlling your habits so your habits do not control you. The change you fear are not created by discipline. They are created by the lack of it. If you want true freedom, build discipline. Start small. Keep promises to yourself. Train the muscle each day. Over time, you will discover that discipline does not close doors, it opens them. It does not confine you, it liberates you. Because only when you are disciplined are you free to live the life you truly desire, not the one your impulses settle for. Obstacles are not blocking your path, they are the path. Most of us see obstacles as interruptions, as if life has placed something in front of us to slow us down or to push us off course. We imagine a straight, smooth road to success and happiness, and when problems appear, we feel as though we have been unfairly stopped. But this way of seeing things is an illusion. The truth is, there is no smooth road. The obstacles are not in the way. They are the way. They are not distractions from the journey. They are the journey itself. Every obstacle carries within it a lesson. When you meet resistance, you are being trained, not punished. The challenge is shaping your strength, sharpening your patience, deepening your resilience. If everything came easily, you would never grow. Think of a muscle. It does not grow by comfort, but by resistance. You must push against weight for it to expand. Life works in the same way. Without obstacles to push against, you remain weak, untested, and unprepared for the next stage of your path. Many people spend their energy complaining about obstacles or wishing them away. But wishing for an obstacle-free life is like wishing for a life without growth. Imagine a mountain climber who asks for a mountain without rocks, without steep slopes, without cold winds. What would be left to climb? The very challenge that makes the climb meaningful would be gone. In the same way, the obstacles you face are the very things that give meaning to your journey. They are the proving ground for the person you are becoming. The way you respond to obstacles reveals your character. Some see difficulty and turn back. Others see difficulty and become bitter. But the wise see difficulty and understand that it is a teacher. Every obstacle carries a question: will you give up or will you grow? Will you complain or will you adapt? Will you see it as the end or will you see it as the next step? The answer you choose does not just determine the outcome of the obstacle, it determines the kind of person you become. Obstacles also redirect us. Sometimes we hold too tightly to a plan that is not meant for us, and when an obstacle appears, it feels like punishment. But later, when we look back, we realize that obstacle forced us to change direction, to rethink our approach, and to find a path that was better suited for us. What felt like a block was actually guidance. Life often teaches through detours. There is also a hidden gift in obstacles. They slow us down. In our rush to reach goals, we often miss important lessons, we overlook growth, and we forget to prepare ourselves. An obstacle forces us to pause, to reflect, and to strengthen ourselves before moving forward. It is like a blacksmith tempering steel. The heating, the hammering, and the pressure are uncomfortable, but without them, the blade would never be strong. The same is true of the human spirit. Without obstacles, it would remain fragile. Think of the people you admire most, the strong, the wise, the resilient. Their character was not built in times of ease, it was forged in times of difficulty. Behind every story of greatness is a history of obstacles faced and overcome. What separates them from others is not the absence of struggle, but their willingness to walk through struggle without breaking. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Begin to ask, what is this teaching me? That shift in perspective turns obstacles from enemies into allies. It transforms frustration into growth and despair into strength. The obstacle is no longer a wall but a doorway. And each time you pass through one, you carry with you a new level of awareness, skill, and resilience that prepares you for what lies ahead. Remember, obstacles will never disappear from life. If you wait for a day when all is smooth and easy, you will wait forever. The path is not meant to be free of resistance. It is meant to train you through it. Once you understand this, every challenge becomes meaningful. You stop fearing obstacles and begin to welcome them as essential parts of your evolution. The path is not beside the obstacles. The path is through them. Every stone you trip over, every storm you face, every setback you endure, these are not delays to your journey. They are the journey itself. Embrace them, learn from them, and walk forward with the understanding that the very things you once thought were holding you back are the things carrying you forward. Transformation is not found in big moments, but in small, consistent steps. Many people believe that change will arrive suddenly, like a lightning strike, a single event that flips everything around in an instant. They wait for a breakthrough, for the perfect chance, for the right timing that will finally transform their life. But transformation rarely happens this way. Real change is slow, deliberate, and steady. It is not about one big leap. It is about thousands of small steps, repeated with patience and discipline, until they shape you into a different person. Think about water dripping on stone. One drop seems powerless, too small to make any difference. But drop after drop, day after day, the stone is carved. Over time, what seemed unchangeable begins to transform. The same principle applies to your life. A single workout will not make you strong, but daily exercise will. One page of reading will not make you wise, but reading every day will. A single act of kindness will not change your character, but consistent kindness will. Transformation hides itself in the repetition of the small. The reason many people never change is because they underestimate these small steps. They dismiss them as too simple, too insignificant, and instead chase dramatic changes. They want to transform overnight, and when the big moment does not arrive, they feel disappointed and give up. But waiting for a big change is like waiting for a tree to appear without ever planting the seed. The truth is, every extraordinary transformation is built on ordinary actions repeated with persistence. Small, consistent steps also build momentum. At first, progress feels invisible. You may put in effort for weeks and see no difference. But just as ice resists melting until the right temperature is reached, transformation resists showing until you have built enough momentum. Then, suddenly, the results appear. Others may call it an overnight success, but you will know it was the product of countless small steps, unseen by anyone but you. Consistency matters more than intensity. Many people start with passion, doing too much too soon, only to burn out. They push hard for a few days or weeks, but because they cannot sustain the pace, they fall back into old patterns. True transformation does not require extreme effort for a short time. It requires steady effort for a long time. 10 minutes of meditation every day will change you more deeply than 2 hours once in a while. Writing 1 page a day will eventually give you a book, while waiting for inspiration may give you nothing at all. Consistency creates permanence. Another hidden power of small steps is how they shape identity. Each time you act in alignment with who you want to be, you cast a vote for that version of yourself. When you choose to study instead of procrastinate, you cast a vote for the disciplined learner. When you choose to exercise instead of sitting still, you cast a vote for the strong and healthy version of yourself. When you choose kindness over anger, you cast a vote for a compassionate soul. These votes accumulate, and slowly, without realizing it, you become the person you envisioned. It is not one vote that defines you. It is the majority you build through daily actions. Transformation also requires patience, because growth is not always visible. A seed beneath the soil shows no sign of life for a long time. If you lose patience and stop watering it, you will never see the sprout. But if you trust the process and stay consistent, one day the seed breaks through the soil, and the growth that was invisible becomes undeniable. Your life works the same way. The steps you take today may not show results immediately, but they are building a foundation beneath the surface. So, instead of waiting for the perfect moment or dramatic event to change your life, begin with what you can do today. Take one step, no matter how small. Then take another tomorrow and another the day after. Do not underestimate these steps. They are like bricks. Alone they may not look like much, but together they build a house. Over time, the life you desire is constructed from the steps you take daily, not from the dreams you imagine occasionally. Transformation is not a single event, it is a process. It is the unfolding of consistent effort, small but steady, leading you toward the person you are capable of becoming. Every day gives you the chance to take a step. Do not wait for change. Walk into it. And when you look back, you will realize that the small steps you once doubted have carried you further than you ever imagined.